does, unfortunately. So he says, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, focus on death when you are in salah. Yeah, when Hadith Jibreel, how many of you have heard of Hadith Jibreel? MashaAllah, I'm sure all of you have. Right, Hadith Jibreel, it says, أن تعبد الله, that you worship Allah, كأنك ترى, as if you can see Allah Ta'ala in front of you. فإن لم تكن ترى فإنه يراك. If you can't see Allah, remember Allah Ta'ala is watching you. This is how we remain conscious of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala throughout our salah. He says the second thing, when you are sitting with people, then take care of this tongue of yours. Take care of this tongue of yours and never ever speak that which is not beneficial. May Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala make it easy for us, inshallah. The third thing he says, when you eat, be disciplined in your eating. One physician, one doctor goes to Medina Munawwara, he opens up a surgery. And for months on end, he's got no customers. Now he's surprised, no one gets ill in Medina Munawwara. Here is the total opposite. Everyone goes to the doctor. Some of us can, if we were earning loyalty points, Allahu Akbar, I don't know how many nectar points you'll have, you'll be able to fly around the world maybe. That's how often we visit the doctor, especially when we want that prescription for paracetamol which costs 16p, but we will make the NHS pay so much more for it. Don't do that, please. Yeah. So he says that when you eat, be disciplined. This doctor now goes to the Sahaba, he says, what's happening with you people? None of you ever get sick. He says the reason being is because our Master sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam has taught us that eat 1/3 of your stomach, drink 1/3, and 1/3 you leave empty. Here we eat 3/3, then we say we've got a separate compartment for dessert, and there's always space for masala chai. Huh? That's why we find we get ill. 1/3 for food, 1/3 for drink, and 1/3 empty. I'm repeating this. So that when you sit down to eat that nice lamb biryani that you never cooked, then think of these things. Don't overstuff yourself. Then you come for Zohar Namaz and you're giving off a wave of different odors here to the Musallis next to you. Give love, not bad breath. The fourth thing he says, when you are in people's houses, then lower your gaze. When you are in people's houses, then lower your gaze. Today you may be with family members and so forth, and you see someone there, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, you see someone, oh, mashallah, looking very nice today. Oh, my wife never dresses up like this. My husband never looks so smart. And then from a gaze, then what it becomes? Then it becomes a smile. And what does a smile become? Then it becomes a text. And what the text becomes? A call. And what the call becomes? Eventually ends up with zina and break down the family. Lower your gaze. Respect the people in whose house you are, or if people are in your house. It doesn't mean only when you visit people. Two things you must never ever mention, very quickly inshallah. First thing is your kindness towards people and their bad attitude towards you. Let me repeat that. Your kindness towards people and their bad attitude towards you, never ever mention these things. Never ever say to someone, remember I did for you. Remember I gave you a lift. Remember I helped you when you were down and out, when you were in need. Now I'm asking you, you can't even help me? No. Then you didn't do it for the right reason. If you mention it, then you didn't do it for the right reason. And the second thing he says, never ever speak of the good that you've done. Whether it is for someone or whatever it may be, never ever speak of the good that you have done. These two things. You've done them, you forget about it. You even forget that you ever did it. Subhanallah, so beautiful is our religion. That you never brag about your favors upon mankind, upon people, upon the community, and especially our family members. حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ وَهْنًا عَلَى وَهْنٍ. Luqman says to his son, what does he say to his son? He says, respect your parents. And your mother, حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ, his mother or her mother carried her in the womb. وَهْنًا عَلَى وَهْنٍ, hardship upon hardship she went through. Difficulty upon difficulty. So much of harshness, so much of difficulty, so much of pain. the nausea, and so many things that a mother goes through. How can we dare raise our tongue to our mothers? How can we dare raise our voices to our mothers? Then he says there are two things you must never ever forget. What are the two things we mustn't forget? Come on, guys. Remembrance of Allah. Sort of, yeah. Two things. Come on. It's 9:23 on a Sunday morning. It's not 6:23. Yeah. You've got to be awake by now. Especially the youngsters, maybe not so much. Right, so people, something that's all encompassing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you are conscious of Allah, then you'll be conscious of everyone and everything around you. When you have the love and the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's punishment. Yeah? When you have the love of Allah and the fear that, you know what, if I do something wrong, Allah can punish me if He wants. He is my creator after all. He has full control. Inna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir. If Allah Ta'ala wants, He can punish me just like that. He can take me to task just like that. So if you are conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah we will not do someone wrong. And if we do, we are insan after all, we make mistakes, then no problem. We will not lose anything, our status won't go down by anything, rather it will be the opposite if we have to apologize. And the second thing we must never ever forget, before we start salah. Second thing, anyone? Take a chance. Jay? Death. Don't forget death. Never ever forget death. The greatest and the worst. The best and the worst. The richest, the poorest. All have left this dunya at some point. Those that came have left. There is no one around that can say, I'm 500 years old. Maybe something in a museum, yeah. But there's nothing, no human being is around that's been here forever, no matter how much of wealth or knowledge or whatever you may possess. Yeah, it's going to keep you alive forever and ever. We all have to leave this dunya. And then one day, on the day of Qiyamah, we will be called by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون. Where's this ayah? Surah. All of you know it. Surah Yasin. Yeah. People will say, as they're coming out of their graves, they will say, what will they say? They will say, hey, what is happening to us? Man ba'athana min marqadina. Who's taken us out of our places of rest? Marqad. The grave is also called a marqad. Yeah? We were chilling there in the graves, or we were getting punished there in the graves. Who's called us out? And we will be told that this is the promise of your Rahman. Right, it is now 9:26. If I can ask for everyone, brothers and sisters, to please stand up and stand close together. Stand close together, do not leave any gaps in between. Brothers, can you move right down towards your left-hand side? Stand close together. No gaps in between at all. There's still brothers waiting to come in. If you move it to in front of that cupboard, then two people can reach around it. Sure. If you move that to the right. Come brothers, move forward brothers. Aage aa jao, move forward. For the pleasure of Allah, move forward brothers. Brothers in that safa over there, just stand a little bit forward, not too close to that board, because when you make ruku, that board is going to go that way. We don't want that to happen. Right, everyone that is in their safs, you can sit down inshallah. As long as there's no gaps in front of you, please sit down. Those that are doing the collection, if you can walk around quickly, please. I'm just going to quickly explain, because it's only twice a year we get the Eid Salah. We sometimes forget how to perform the Eid Salah. So I'll do a quick explanation of that, inshallah, before we start. with the Eid Salah. So we will first make intention, Ya Allah, I'm reading 2 rakats, Eid Salah, or Eid-ul-Adhaa, for your pleasure, facing the Qibla behind this Imam, with 6 extra wajib takbeers. With 6 extra wajib takbeers. Imam will say, Allahu Akbar, takbir tahrima, you lift your hands up, pull your hands, Allahu Akbar. Thereafter recite Thana, Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, wa tabarak asmuk, wa ta'ala jadduka wa la ilaha ghayruk. Thereafter the Imam will say Allahu Akbar again. You lift up your hands, put it down to your side. Second time, Allahu Akbar, lift up your hands, put it down to your side. Third time, lift up your hands, Allahu Akbar, but then fold your hands. Imam will recite Surah Fatiha, a portion of the Noble Quran. Listen attentively, try to focus, inshallah, on our salah. Thereafter, the first rakat will be completed as usual, inshallah. The second rakat, the Imam will recite again Surah Al-Fatiha and a portion of the Noble Quran. Before going into ruku, Imam will say Allahu Akbar. You lift your hands up, put it down to the side. Second time, same thing, Allahu Akbar, lift your hands up, put it down to the side. Third time, lift your hands up, put it down to the side. The fourth time, without raising your hands, go into ruku. Salah will then be completed, dua will be made. This is a blessed time to make dua. And just one mas'ala here, that after the Fard Salah, for 23 Salah, from the 9th to the 13th, we need the takbir. After each Salah, it's not one of those 23. After Eid Salah is over, you don't read the takbir. It's important that we understand this mas'ala. Many a times we get confused, then it will become 24 times 24 Salah that we've read it after. It's only 23. From yesterday, Fajr. Yesterday was 9th, today is the 10th, Monday 11th, Tuesday 12th, and Wednesday till Asr Salah will make 23 Salah, where we recite the takbir after Salah. After each Salah, we don't recite the takbir loudly. Thereafter, after the dua has concluded, 2 khutbahs will take place. The Sahaba, it is mentioned, would remain upon the sufuf, on their places of Salah. They wouldn't get up, they wouldn't leave. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had instructed them to sit there and listen attentively to the khutbah. Don't take out your phone and start forwarding, WhatsApping everyone the Eid Mubarak messages that started flooding out from last night already. Leave your phones, pay attention, although you may not understand. Make a dua in your heart. Ya Allah, grant me the spiritual benefits of whatever has been recited. Inshallah, once we do this, and we try and focus and concentrate, inshallah, this will be beneficial for all of us, inshallah. Okay? You got space there? There's still people waiting there? Come brothers, go forward. Kitchen is full there. Right, if everyone can make the safs, please, we'll start salat now, inshallah. Sisters, collection being done on that side? No? Brothers, please, I can see from here lots of gaps in between you. Don't stand with any gap. There's still some space that side. If you guys move up, Abu Ibrahim. If you can move up a little, there's 2 fathers of Ibrahim standing there. MashaAllah. Brothers, if you can move up, put the youngsters there, rather. The smaller ones can go there. It'll be much easier, inshallah. Your heels on the green line, and please stand close together. If you keep your hands like this in front of you, and your shoulders are just touching the person next to you, inshallah, you will find that when you start salah, then you will be standing comfortably and not squashed out. There's still brothers waiting there. I was trying to get in. In the rooms, is there any space there? No. You can squeeze up, sardines in the can sort of thing, no? Would you be able to make? Yeah. Huh? Maybe it's a good idea to know this.